Yeah, yeah. Happy anniversary, Chris.
Happy anniversary to you.
Happy Fumfa Poets and Writers Live anniversary. Happy birthday also. You know, it's all of those fabulous things.
1 year ago. Unbelievable.
I can't believe it. Look at I've got a party hat. I've got this thing, which I thought made noise, but I should have realized that no, it's more of a curly thing feature going on over here. And you know, friends, I know you're just coming in now, and I will show this throughout the night. I have Crane Lake. I've got Crane Lake on hand. I haven't tasted it yet. I think I need to wait for the official welcome at 7 to, you know, taste that flavor.
You don't want to peak too soon. You know, you gotta work up to that Crane Lake.
That's true. You know, we should have planned that out. We should have planned that out exactly when would be like the right moment for me to actually, you know, dip into the Crane Lake situation over here. I had a very funny story related to that today because I was very busy all day and I had to work. But I went out very early this morning and I really wanted to get party hats. I could only find the skinniest party hat in existence from Dollar Tree. And, you know, I bought some other things and I came home. I didn't have time to go to the liquor store and get some Crane Lake. So I ordered it through an app. And the guy called from the store called and told me, he said, you know, we don't have any more Cabernet Sauvignon Crane Lake. And he's like, could I recommend a different Cabernet Sauvignon? I'm like, no, it has to be Crane Lake. I said, what is the...
Yes.
I said, what is the other Crane Lake that you have?
You're so snooty.
I know. I know. I said it's very important that it be only Crane Lake, and he said, well, the Petite Syrah is very good. I was like, okay. So I'm not sure if we ever had this on the island, but it's, you know, it's the Crane Lake brand that counts, I suppose.
Well, you know, the way it works at Crane Lake is they have red, they have white, and then they have different labels.
We just a little bit less red, more red.
Yeah.
It all goes in. Well, Chris, you know, such a fun, such a silly, such a joyful beginning we're having here, because it's a really, really special day. What beer are you drinking on this special night, Chris?
I'm doing a little bit of Headway by Counterweight.
Nice.
Out of Hamden, Connecticut.
Okay, not too far away.
Oh no, quite tasty.
That's really nice.
Look at that! Look at that!
Ooh,
I'm about to defile the mustache portion of my beard here.
Get it, Chris. Get it. Well, it's not bad this time. It's not very bad. You know, if I lean back, you can see more of the super skinny hat.
It's okay. Leave it a little mysterious there. Just sort of
like, what is on her head?
You know that's on her head.
Yeah, you know, as our guests join us. Oh, and Mom and Dad are here. Chris Madden. Chris Madden says Crane Lake. No.
No, that's a lot of O's. No.
Oh, indeed.
Susan Davis from sunny California, rubbing it in a little bit.
Yes, but saying happy anniversary. Thank you, Susan, our amazing guest and friend and fellow alum. So happy to see you out there. Well, you know, I feel like maybe I should taste this. You know, since you tasted your beer, I think I maybe should.
Too bad you want somebody else there to taste it for you.
To taste it for me. You know, I have to say, to be honest, it's not bad. It's not bad. But I drink some strange concoctions sometimes. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm the most discriminating palate.
I always
uh,
thought it was palatable because we were on the island and there was some sort of magical force field
Magical powers
on the island.
transformed it like Christ.
Drinkable. But the
Transformed
moment
the
you
Crane
left the
Lake
island, the
into
moment you left the island, if you had Crane Lake, you would just
no.
spit it out.
It's all right, but honestly, I should have more of a wine person here to just like really tell me how it is. Also, when I was much younger, about 10 years ago, I didn't really drink very much, so any kind of sip of any wine was still kind of like, ooh, to my palate at the time.
You
But
were
yeah, no,
you were the sensible person
sensible
on the
person.
island.
Well, I maybe I was missing out on all that Crane Lake, um,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Well, Chris, it is 7 o'clock. It is time for our official welcome. Guys and ladies, friends, audience members, readers, students, alums, faculty, friends of our community, welcome to our 1 year anniversary live stream. We are so happy to be here with you and to share this special evening of interviews, readings, catching up with some great friends of ours who have been on the show, and just kind of celebrating this night, celebrating this moment in our history together. It's been a really rough year since the beginning of quarantine and lockdown, and now we have the hope of vaccinations coming up and all of that. But one of the things that has really sustained us all has been being a part of this community. So we wanted to celebrate that and really thank you. And so, Chris, who do we have sharing with us tonight?
Oh my God. Well, it's a long and illustrious list.
It is indeed.
It includes the first ever non-host readers. About almost 1 year ago, joined us. They were the intrepid, brave, and perhaps slightly reckless in a good way. Ioanna Opidee and LaRue Cook. And so we're happy to bring them back after 1 year.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course, the great Baron Wormser is here.
Woo!
And Lona Jack-Vilmar, who's been on, of course, a couple of times before, and she's one of our most dedicated watchers.
Yes.
We have special guests by video that I'm not going to say anything about because I think that's
surprise guests.
We have the great Pete Nelson, who's coming back. He was also when was Pete on? He was on back last July.
Yeah.
And now he's back here, and he's gonna serenade us a little bit. We got the one and only Philip J. Curtis, who is also one of our most loyal watchers, as is our final guest, Sarah Sleeper from sunny California, who almost every week pops up on here.
Yeah. And that's something that we wanted to do. We wanted to welcome back our first readers with us, and also to give a chance to some of our very frequent watchers, and invite some beloved mentors, and celebrate with all of you. We know that so many of you out there have been watching very frequently, reading with us very frequently too. We just thank you, and we sending all of that love out to you tonight. So what to expect next is, I wanted to say a few words to get us started. That's what's next.
Here we go.
Okay.
Get out your handkerchiefs.
Get out your handkerchiefs. All right. So I really wanted to say something. Normally, I'm coming up here and very, very silly, very fun, as I like to be. But I'd like to share, a few more thoughts and memories, and more organized thoughts with you. So here we go. I wanted to share this with you guys. All right, let me just open my document here. Just to kind of kick us off, there aren't too many places in the world where you feel at home, where you feel the comfort of being known, where you are warmly supported as you learn and grow, where you can always go back to reconnect and remind yourself who you are. This community of writers, professors, mentors, and friends has been that for me. Oh, I'm about to cry already, Chris. Has been that for me since December of 2008. Like just months after I graduated from undergrad. I think I was one of the babies, or maybe the youngest at the time. And all of that has been the greatest source of joy, connection, and purpose for me this last year.
Sorry, that's my dog.
Oh, no worries. Hey, doggy. I graduated from Fairfield University in 2008 with a double major in English and classical music. Dr. Kim Bridgefer was one of the founding faculty members and had been my mentor, professor, and guide already. And I couldn't imagine not following her as far as I could to continue to be mentored by her. I listened to her stories as various plans fell into place to make the brand new low residency MFA program happen. With residency periods at the gorgeous little retreat center on Enders Island in Mystic, Connecticut. There was little doubt in my mind that this was my next step in life. The inaugural residency began a few days after Christmas in December 2008. I still remember my first cold and beautiful drive off exit 90 through Mystic, down Mason's Road, and across that lovely, skinny, and scary causeway. I remember grabbing my bags and my guitar and going to the main building where Dr. Michael White and Elizabeth Hastings welcomed me. And I met all the members of that inaugural cohort, aka best cohort. No. That day and that evening at a welcome reception with cheese, fruit, and, of course, Crane Lake. Crane Lake. Oh, and I said that night would be life-changing for more reasons than one, but the most memorable and most important reason is that I hung out with my new Fumfa bestie, Chris Belden, for the first time. And I noticed he had also brought a guitar with him to the island, and we ended up bringing our guitars to that main room, and in the midst of the noise, we tried to share and play some songs. Over the next few days and next residencies, we became the organizers and promoters of the residency talent shows and could also be found playing guitar, practicing, and hanging out in afternoons and evenings. We sang Chris's songs and other popular songs, and at some point, Chris wrote the famous and delightful FUMFA song, which was played at every residency that we attended, and was quite a hoot. Through workshops, dinners, and hangouts, and evening Crane Lake bonding sessions, we became connected to each other, to the professors and staff, and to the island itself, even the lovely chapel with the infamous and shocking St. Edmund's Arm. And at this little interlude, I'd love to share a few photos with you. Yep, that's me and Chris. There we are playing guitar. There's Tommy Hahn, who read with us. There's Ioanna, who will be up soon. That's me and Nick Knittel, Stephanie Harper. Elizabeth Kirshner, who was on last week. Matthew Hamilton is in there. Bill Patrick is in this picture, as well as Annabelle Mosley, Steve Otfanoski.
Please.
Dr. Michael White. Da Chen, rest in peace. Our dear friend, AJ O'Connell, Jean Delarme-Neri, and Susan Smith, Daniel's back there, and then Chris with Phil, Lemos, and Joe. Sorry, that was very speedy, but I can share more about those with you later if you'd like to see them again. Basically, we graduated in January of 2011, and years passed, and some disconnection happened. But after my book came out, and as I was starting to feel like very very disconnected. I was very unhappy with this, and I wanted to really reconnect with the program, with my friends, with my community, and especially with my old bestie, Chris Belden. So we emailed and had a phone conversation, and it was marvelous to be back in touch. Just as we started to talk about planning the reading, an in-person reading in March 2020, the whole world, it seemed, went into lockdown and quarantine. We decided not to be deterred, though, and to do as everyone began to do at that time and just move everything online. We also decided that perhaps we could create a series beyond our own work to spread that reconnection, joy, and love, and to give us the opportunity to celebrate each other's books virtually together through this dark time. Our first reading was Chris and I, and our second reading was Ioanna Opidee and LaRue Cook, and Chris is going to show you more about our big list of readers since then a little bit later. As much as we have heard that you all have enjoyed and been nourished and comforted by what we've been doing, we have loved creating it and have been blessed by your presence and support each week. We've reconnected with old friends and mentors. We've gotten to know alumni and students who studied and graduated after us. We've gotten acquainted with special guests and gained new friends. We've celebrated over 100 of our collective recent publications together, and we've helped to keep that fire of home and community glowing. Chris and I hope we can continue to do this as long as we're able to, and we thank you so much for watching, listening, and participating with us this last year. We're honored by it. We love you all, and we're excited for all that we have yet to share and experience together. So cheers to you guys at home. Hopefully you have Crane Lake on hand. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, but
cheers.
Beautifully said. You made it all the way through.
What's that, Chris?
Beautifully said.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, everyone.
And you made it all the way through without
breaking down.
It's very nice. And it's true. We've had this is our 47th weekly reading.
That's right.
48 if you include the
Memorial for Kim.
And we've had, by my count, 118 different authors read their stuff on here.
Yes, we have.
It doesn't include doubles, people coming back. It's 118 individual authors have been on here in the last year, which is a heck of a lot.
That is a heck of a lot, and that's really awesome. And that's so exciting. We hardly even realized that, as we were, doing that. It's just such a pleasure.
It is a pleasure.
Chris, I will throw it on over to you now. It looks like you've got a guitar over there.
Well, I'm just gonna, you talked about the song that we would sing. We would always open up our talent shows with this little number. And,
yes.
We would update it regularly.
We did.
Right. So I've updated this one. It's brief. And normally you would be singing with me, but because of time delay issues with this,
I will just be dancing and singing on mute.
It's called FUMFA. 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 Last night I dreamed of old Winter's Island. Those birds were chirping, the sun was shining. Someone asked my name, what is my genre? Who is your mentor? Oh, and pass that Crane Lake wine. F-U-M-F-A. 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 Our work's not done when we leave the island. Some years are gone, but we're still a-writing. Even here on the Fumfa live stream, none of us are beyond the reach of old St. Edmund's arm. F-U-M-F-A, F-U-M-F-A, F-U-M-F-A. Wow. Out of two.
Chris, it was a delight to hear that. First time that I've heard it all the way through, well, with updated lyrics, in about 10 years. So
Right?
That's a good time. And it's true, none of us are beyond the reach of St. Edmund's arm, or really anywhere we may be.
That's so true.
That is the truth. That is the truth, Chris. Well, I think we need to welcome our first guests.
Get them on here.
Get them on here. All right, everybody. We are welcoming Ioanna Opidee and LaRue Cook. LaRue, are you there? All right. Oh, just make sure to unmute yourselves.
I'm here, I think.
Yes. Sorry, LaRue.
Oh, it's okay. I'm living on a grad school budget, so my internet is grad school level. So.
grad school quality.
I'm not a doctor yet. That's when I get internet.
Hey. Well, what are you studying? Remind us, LaRue.
Oh, I'm getting my PhD in creative writing, and
Yeah.
I passed my comprehensive. What's that?
Are you sure you're going to be able to afford internet with a PhD in creative writing?
No. I just passed my comprehensive exams back in November, so now I'm a PhD candidate.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks.
Dr. LaRue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice. And Ioanna, what have you been up to lately?
Yeah, a whole lot. Yeah, it's been a busy year, teaching and, just kind of taking it day to day.
Nice.
How's the teaching working for you? You're down in Weston.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we're hanging in there with all the changes. And I also did a yoga teacher training this past year. I was able to do it virtually, so that was kind of got me through the year in a lot of ways.
Nice. Fabulous. I would love to ask you guys, you were some of our first guests. It was kind of before we got everything very smooth and streamlined here on StreamYard. And it was still like so very new. But how was your experience when you were reading here? How did you feel about it? How did you feel about the pieces that you shared?
There was a little arm bending that went on.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I have thoughts on that actually, because I loved how Katie, you're first off. I can't stop smiling while watching the two of you. You two you're so amazing. I love the song. That really just cracked me up. I really appreciate that. And Katie, in your beautiful introduction, you talked about, how it feels to be known. And then Chris, you also described us as reckless in a good way. And I had to write that down because I think that's just a perfect way to describe, us. And
well, you guys were the first ones on here and you didn't know what the hell was happening. And,
no. And yeah, it just felt like, well, everything is upside down. So let's try it. Let's see how it goes.
Let's dive in.
Yeah.
That's great. What about you, LaRue?
That's actually, I remember more that I didn't know what in the world was going on in the world than anything about the reading, because at that point, every day was a new experience, right? And so it just felt right to, it's interesting because you all were some of the first that I had seen put together a group like this. And then I saw more and more of these sort of online readings spawn and become, the new norm. And so kudos to both of you for being so prescient, I guess.
Thank you.
We started the whole thing.
They were really just following us, all these other guys.
But that was April 3rd of last year, right? I mean, if you look back on that, we were all sort of clueless and about what was coming and what the hell's happening, how long is this going to last, and what have you, and we're just like flailing around in the dark. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yanni, I had to talk you into it a little bit to come on. It was scary. What was this thing? And I mean, there are people out there who won't believe this, but who still will not come on this thing.
They're too shy.
Categorically, no. But hey.
There was something, though, about that impulse that you had to bring people together in this way. I think that was really powerful. So it allowed me to be reckless in a good way, as you said, and just kind of like hold it and see what happens.
And your reading blew us away. I remember the work that you read and these different images and characters from that, and it was so powerful. And that was just such a treat to get to hear. And it was part of what made us kind of believe in like, well, let's keep doing this. Let's really keep going. And also just the simple pleasure of getting to see your faces and to share this time with you, in addition to hearing that new work and all of that. So it's been such a pleasure. And Ioanna, I think you have something that you'd like to share tonight. I think it's a poem.
Yeah, I have a short poem. And I also wanted to mention, too, that piece I read that night ended up being published. It's something I had written 10 years prior and just sort of had given up on it. And then it felt like the right moment to pull it out and revise it. And so it really has helped me think about the ways in which pieces can sometimes get released into the world at the right time. It was sort of like when I wrote the piece, it wasn't quite ready, maybe, but that felt really like the right moment. So I thank you for also that, because I wanted that piece to have some life.
Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's one of the coolest things that we can hear, and that piece deserves to be out there, and that's so exciting.
Thanks. So the short piece I was going to read today, actually, I wrote in collage form, so you can kind of like see what it looks like a little bit. Mostly that is the only writing I've been doing in the past year. It's like cutting pieces out of magazines and moving pieces around, and it just kind of feels right for the moment. So, yeah.
Do you have your students do that?
It's funny you mentioned that. I have done that in the past. It's a little harder this year because you can't really like touch things and share materials. But World Collage Day is on May 8th, so I'm hoping to roll out like a fun project on that day.
Nice.
Yeah. So this piece is called Tri-Space. You say the sadness I feel is hardwired, a mountain of melancholy, but the house's foundation is shifting. Open your eyes in the depths of emotion to discover creative powers of observation. There, a stranger approaches you brightly in the shadows, lighting their vision of the world. Rivers of wonder, a place where burnout zooms into an abyss and ignites a vulnerable chaos that moves you. A serene backdrop for a vibrant revolution of taking your sacred space back from occupying forces and finding your own source of oxygen.
Gorgeous.
Can you show that?
Can you show it one more time?
Collage?
So this is the first page. This is the second page. I had to take some of the little branches and stuff my daughter gathers and that I glue on because they fall off. So you can't that's the, third page.
I love it.
Page. So they're just kind of fun,
That's very cool.
And that was incredibly powerful. That was gorgeous. I love that. Thank you for sharing with us, Ioanna.
Thanks for giving me a chance to.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
I want to do that now. You inspired me. I want to start clipping things out.
Very liberating, and it's very peaceful and relaxing as well.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. And LaRue, I'm not sure. Did you want to share a piece with us tonight, or
I'm going to yield my time. Because I'm inching on the road to dissertation, and like this time next year I'll be defending. I'm burnt out. But I guess I'm not really big into aphorisms and adages, but I will say that something has stuck with me that I read this year, and it's the only true miracle is a change of heart. And I think that it would be good for us to keep that in mind.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
So that's what I've got to say.
Thank you so much, LaRue. I have one question. I hope it's not too like burnouty of a question.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah.
But since you have taken that next huge step onto PhD in creative writing, can you share a pearl of wisdom from this experience?
don't do it. That big pearl. Just to be brief about it, I got my undergrad in journalism, and Fairfield was an opportunity to really try creative writing for the first time. And this is not the reason to get a PhD, but I felt a little imposterish because I do want to teach. And so I don't know if I would redo the 5-year gauntlet, but hopefully I will come out on the other side a better teacher of creative writing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Ioanna Opidee and LaRue Cook, our first guests.
Thank you.
And of course, everyone is applauding at home. Yes, I thought I got the ones with sound, but there's no sound. Okay, we love you guys. We hope we can have you back again soon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Read some of that dissertation.
Oh, goodness. Yes, that would be so cool. LaRue's like, no. That would be amazing.
I want to take this opportunity during this segue to just say a couple things. One of which is that we're off next week. We're Easter. Yes. But we will be returning the following week with a couple of powerhouses. Elena Dillon, who has a new book coming out. Big time. AJ O'Connell, who has a new book. I don't know if it's quite out yet or if it's just about to come out. I can't remember what the date is on it. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So that's 2 weeks from tonight. And also we will be changing our start time.
Yes.
We're taking into account daylight savings. And we want to hear from people whether we should start at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Of course, that's Eastern time for those out in California. But what's the preference? You can put it in the comments.
Put it in the chat. 7:30, 8.
Or 8 o'clock. And we're going to also have a little survey on our Facebook page for people to chime in.
Yes, a little poll you can vote in. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for that reminder, Chris, and for those announcements of who is coming up. And now we'd like to welcome Baron Wormser. Woo! Baron!
Man.
Welcome. Oh, Baron, you're muted. I'm so sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are so absolutely delighted to have you on here, Baron. I have got to ask you, what have you been up to lately? How has teaching been? How has writing been, these days?
Well, I've been writing and teaching, and since I like to write and teach, things are good that way.
Good. That's good.
I wish there weren't a pandemic that covered the planet the last year, of course. But for people who do what we do, which is a fairly solitary thing, still,
yes.
Honestly. And obviously, the way our MFA works also is, through the internet and, phone and everything. So all still going on with people. So I want to say, though, I think it's really beautiful what you two have done. I found it amazing and very touching that, you've reached out to so many people. You've just kept at this, and I just feel a world of credit you two deserve, for doing this. And it says just a lot of good things about the program. People have been in the program, and you two really exemplify that. So hats
you.
off to you. Even pointy little funny hats like you wear.
Thank you.
Darren, thank you so much. That is such an honor from you, to hear that from you, and it's been our absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for those words.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to show a little something, Baron. I have this book is on my shelf. I hadn't looked at it in quite some time. It's called The Morrow Anthology of Younger American Poets. I'm looking through there, and all the names. There's all kinds of people.
When was this published, Chris? When was this published?
When? 1984. Yeah. And who do I see? Look at that.
Look at that handsome gentleman. Look at that handsome younger poet.
Karen, you still got it. You still got it going on top there.
Absolutely.
Not quite as much hair, but you still, from my point of view, I'm
jealous.
Very impressed.
That was the cutest thing I've seen all week. It was so great.
The color used to be a little different, though, Chris. It was something called red. I was a redhead.
Oh, really? Wow, that's.
You were a redhead?
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's not a color.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm trying to imagine that now. Very cool, Baron. Very cool. Baron, how has it? What was it like? Your experience coming on our show and reading from your new book? Had you been doing online readings by that time? I think you read with us first, I believe, in June. Chris, was it June?
Let me look, because I have it all written down.
Yeah,
nope,
it was
May 29th.
Okay, so it was the very end of May. Up to that point, had you done any online readings, and how has it been with online readings since then?
It was exciting to read from the book, because the book, was just coming out,
right.
And it's been, I've done a number of readings online since then, and obviously, I think we all feel it's like so many things going on. It's a mixed blessing,
True.
I would much rather sit in a room with you and be able to go out and have a crane lake or a beer with you. However, obviously, as a way just to bring people together, this is pretty extraordinary. And that's why I offered those words at the beginning to you two. So it's been mixed, but certainly I can't say I would prefer to spend a lifetime reading into a computer screen, frankly. So I don't think we will. I hope. Yeah.
No, it's very mixed. I mean, we're on the plus side is we're able to get people from all over,
right,
all over the world potentially, but definitely all over the country to be together, which we can't do at the at the Fairfield bookstore or something like that.
Right.
But although maybe headed forward we can combine.
That's
a little bit. That's the hybrid thing. Who knows? We'll see.
That's what we've been sort of like lightly marinating on, that when we are able to gather in person again, as we continue to do this and kind of modulate a little bit, being able to do in-person readings that we also live stream, or perhaps like having people come in virtually to participate, to kind of keep that ability to be together, while being far away when there's not a pandemic, just because we live in different places. Like Susan M. Davis out in California, she's read with us so many times. Our brand new friend who we've met through this, Philip J. Curtis, is out in Colorado, and so there have been opportunities in the midst of the difficulty, but looking forward to being back in a room and sharing a drink for sure.
Yes, and some poems.
Yes, and speaking of poems or passages, because you're a triple threat, Baron, fiction, nonfiction, poetry. You wanted to share something with us tonight.
I do. What I want to share, and I think what you've been doing the past year really speaks to what I'm going to share. A week ago, Sunday, the great Polish poet Adam Zagajewski died.
Wow.
I knew him. I wrote about him. I contributed to a festschrift for his 70th birthday. If you don't know his work, all I could say is go out and read some of it. So what I want to do tonight is just read a poem of Zagajewski's to honor him, and then a poem that I wrote that's sort of a response poem to this poem of Zagajewski's. I'm going to begin with the Zagajewski poem, which is called Self-Portrait in an Airplane in Economy Class. Crouched like an embryo, crushed into the narrow seat. I try to remember the scent of fresh cut hay when wooden carts descend in August from the mountain meadows, lurching down dirt roads. And the driver cries out, as men always do when they panic. They scream that way in the Iliad and have never fallen silent since, not during the Crusades or later, much later, near us, when no one listens. I'm tired. I think about what can't be thought, about the silence that reigns in forests when the birds sleep, about the coming end of summer. I hold my head in my hands as if shielding it from annihilation. Seen from outside, I doubtless seem immobile, almost dead, resigned, deserving sympathy. But it's not so. I'm free, maybe even happy. Yes, I hold my heavy head in my hands, but inside it, a poem is being born.
Nice.
What a gorgeous poem.
That is a self-portrait by Zagajewski. This is a short poem by me. It's called Self-Portrait with Ball. If I had a sense of self, it was a rubber ball that I was not bouncing or throwing or kicking, but that moved nonetheless, would not stay still, but moved away, uncatchable, then came close, within a hand's reach, but veered, uncatchable, then fell, but bounced hugely. How great I am, only to meet the ceiling of embarrassment and fall without grace or pluck and start rolling on the floor hither and yon, as if seemingly directed, pausing, waiting for me to say something astute, like a ball cannot have a life of its own, except here was the evidence, the first unnameable. So that's kind of an answer poem to Zagajewski. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Baron, for being with us and for being my beloved, beloved mentor, and for continuing to be a beloved mentor to so many writers, and continuing to share your work with us and with the world. We hope we can have you back again really, really soon, and we're sending you so much love.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night, Baron. And now we're going to welcome Lona Jack-Vilmar. Let's get her up here.
There she
Here
is.
she is. Welcome, Lona.
Hello. Thank you for having me. So great to see you all.
It's the pleasure is ours, Lona. We love getting to spend time with you and hearing your work and your thoughts and hearing how things are going with you. And how are things going with you? How is it?
Things are hectic because I am teaching high school and primarily remote. I'm in New York City. You know, we were the epicenter, and high schools just returned to school this past week, and we're still doing remote, but you know, we have a couple of days like we're going in for face-to-face. Most of the students at my school are still doing remote, so it's very touch and go, but remote teaching is very demanding, very time consuming, and I think a lot of the kids, it's hurting a lot of kids, you know. It doesn't work well for everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, like with our MFA program, it was totally different. We made that choice. We did low residency, and we did that for like all adult reasons, being busy at different times of the year and times of the day. But I can't imagine being a teenager and just not being able to see my teacher or see or touch things up close or. You know, I was very self-motivated and nerdy, but
yeah, you know, I mean, we did like the summer residency at Fairfield, all remote, as well as winter residency. It was amazing. It was such a different reality than, you know,
that's hard for me. Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine not being there on the island with people. But what are you going to do?
It was hard, yeah. I look forward to when we can go back and visit. I so miss Enders, you know?
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to be there. But Lona, you said it was still just like a fabulous time. It was still that same community and getting to be together. How was it?
It was so well thoughtfully put together, and I experienced it in the summer and winter, and it was amazing. And, you know, those workshops felt, you know, we built community. They were safe, non-threatening spaces, and we shared our work. And the guest speakers were just fabulous. You know, we had you know, just amazing speakers. It was wonderful, really. Yeah.
Fabulous.
And I guess go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No,
Lona.
I was thinking, you know, because before that summer residency, you know, I was isolated, you know, being in the epicenter. And, you know, I'm so grateful for you and Chris, you guys, for just beginning those Fumfa Fridays, you know. I didn't realize, actually, how much I needed it, because I'm okay being isolated. I felt like I had control. I could make decisions. So the pandemic was horrible and is, but I felt safe and, you know, in control. And until I, you know, joined the conversations, I didn't realize, you know, how much I needed to hear other writers and, you know, just listen to writing. And, you know, those questions at the end were so great, where people shared like tips and craft ideas and so on. Yeah.
That's so great, Lona. That's such a thrill. You know, to hear. That's the best thing that we can hear. That the people are enjoying it. That it's making you happy. It's making you feel connected. And as much as you're saying that, like, we're so thankful that you are, because we feel the same way about it. And getting to do that, and
absolutely. And, you know, every week we're on here and it's like, who's going to tune in? Who's going to watch this week? Or people, you know, people are just going to get sick of this or whatever. And then, you know, we see your name on there saying hello. It always makes us very happy. You know, people like you, Philip, Sarah and Susan, you know, just all the people, like week after week with like, you know, good questions too for the writers and everything. It means a lot to us.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting way to build community with my peers at Fairfield, like, you know, Susan and JLC Meyer, and just seeing, the names and just communicating through like Facebook,
Right.
Getting to
and then meeting new
and,
people like, Sarah and so on from previous years. It's been really, it's been great for me. Yeah.
And, another pair of people who are always in the audience are my parents, which is such a blessing. And they've gotten to know, just like you were saying, they've gotten to know all of you, even though they've never met most of you. We'll be sitting when I go visit them around the dinner table and be like, wow, Lona's poems were incredible. And, they were so excited to hear something that Susan shared, or they just thought that, one of Philip's readings was just so powerful. And, it feels like you're getting together with your friends, and you're getting to know them better too. And people connecting with people who, you haven't necessarily seen from, your residency or cohort or experience before. So absolutely.
Fantastic job.
Thank you so much, Lona.
That's a good point too, because there's so many people who came after us. We were the first. We were the guinea pigs of the MFA program, and then there's this whole crew behind us, and most of them we don't know. And this has been a great way to meet people,
to get to know you guys,
and to stay in touch with that.
Yeah. And, maybe if we were doing just in-person things, we would maybe see you maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But, kind of through this, we've gotten to hang out with you at least a little bit, almost every week. And that's a big pleasure.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Lona, I think you have a poem that you were going to share.
I do have a poem, and some of you may have heard like a version of this before. And I wrote this during the pandemic. And it's called Black Bodies.
Yes.
Okay, so Black bodies, stolen, shackled, the door of no return, family ties severed, uprooted. Black bodies, stuffed into bowels of slave ships, lined up like spoons, force-fitted into each other, lying in excrement, some sinking into madness, shark-infested waters, middle passage journey. Black bodies, auctioned, sold, and branded, raped and whipped, hunted and hounded, fangs gnashed, flesh ripped, blood so ground, life on the plantation. Black bodies on the run, hiding, disguising, following the drinking gourd in search of Harriet's army, North Star beckoning freedom. Black bodies, still powerful, ever present, oppressors' fear activated, noose suspended, legs dangling, teachable moments for Dick and Jane. Black bodies terrorized and in trauma, board buses and northbound trains, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, New York, Great Migration. Black bodies fighting to preserve freedom in faraway lands, but denied dignity at home, casualties of war. Black bodies, new chapters, same story, abused and commodified, dribbling, dunking, sprinting, scoring, twisting and tumbling, objectified, capitalism exemplified. Black bodies, targets for predatory police, choked, tased, pumped with bullets, murder with impunity. Black bodies, lessons in American history. Thank you.
Lona, so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that poem with us again. I remember that from your first reading here.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lona.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
By
and
the
we
way,
look forward. Yes.
The lighting, the lighting. Do you have like a special light or something? Did it shining on you? Because you got like it looks
so like warm and perfect.
Yes, it's like a Zoom light. I got it because of my my teaching. Like, it's just good to have.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
Nice.
It makes me look half as good as you look.
Chris, we gotta go. We love you, Lona. We hope to have you back again
Thank you so much for what you do. I appreciate you all. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too, Lona.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, Chris, we're going to take a little interlude moment between our guests, and we have a little video from two surprise guests. And these guests are the 100% attendance award winners of Chris. And they wanted to, well, we twisted their arm into saying a word and actually showing their faces. So for those of you who have seen and chatted with Mom and Dad in the chat during these last 47 live streams, you will get to see them now. Let me just cue up the video here.
And Katie, happy 1-year anniversary of Fumfa. Since this began 1 year ago, we've really enjoyed it. We haven't missed a Sunday. And all the readers that you've presented have been so wonderful. It's been such a dark year, and looking forward to your show every Sunday night has made us both very, very happy. We're so proud of you, Katie, and thank you for Chris, for all that you do. All of the authors have done such a great job. And again, happy anniversary. May it continue, and may the pandemic be over for all of us.
I agree.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yay, Mom and Dad. Dad, stop interrupting Mom.
That was so funny when I sent you the video earlier today. You're like, your dad's just too chatty. So funny. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad, the 100% attendance award winners. And we have a few people who are not far behind that 100% attendance.
Very close.
Very close, and we're so thankful for you.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Well, our next guest is Pete Nelson, a former faculty member and friend of ours. Hey, Pete.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Wait, you're down in your basement again.
Yeah, this is where I have to go, where I won't disturb anybody. Hey, is there any chance of getting Chuck Johnson to come give a reading?
He's on our list. He won't return. He won't return any of our emails or calls. It's terrible.
He's okay, right?
As far as I know.
He's one of those people who's just like, no, I can't. No, not this week, not ever. I don't do online readings.
Chuck's out there somewhere.
Chuck. Chuck Johnson. Well, for those of you that don't know Chuck Johnson, it was a name prank that I think Chris first played on all the name lists, on all the dry erase boards we had.
Well, I know.
How did it start, Chris? How was the Chuck Johnson story?
Well, listen, we're taking time from Peter, but it started.
Oh, sorry.
I brought it up.
You got me on a Chuck Johnson tangent.
It was a prank on our friend Steve Otfanaski, who was reluctantly chosen to organize a field trip to who's the poet who lives near Mystic there, or it's his house.
The house.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Merrill, somebody Merrill.
I think so.
One of those guys, and he didn't want to be doing this, but Michael Wade kind of volunteered him, and he sent around a list for people, and I just wrote Chuck Johnson on it. And days later, I asked him how it's going, and he's like, "It's going great." He says, "But I can't, this guy signed up, and I can't find him. He must be in the new cohort. This guy Chuck Johnson, So, and then that was it, And then Chuck Johnson would appear everywhere.
Did you know I wrote a Chuck Johnson novel?
Oh my God!
I knew you wrote a story. I didn't know you wrote a novel.
Yeah, he to get out of his sorrows, he pretends to have a stroke, And then he realizes he has to undo that. So he pretends to have a miracle in church.
That's just like Chuck Johnson, you
And
know?
then it goes south from there. Yeah.
Oh, Pete, that's hilarious.
Send that to me.
Yes, please send that to us. Read that on here with us.
We want to have you on here reading a section of that.
Yeah.
We love that. Pete, how have you been doing? How have you been doing since you read with us? How is your writing? How's it going?
I've been listening to everybody else talk. You know, I am exquisitely trained to quarantine. I could be in an iron lung, you know, and keep myself amused with all these things I do that I do alone. Yeah. And I miss going out. You know, I went to a coffee shop, but I hit my 2 weeks after my second vaccine last Tuesday. So I went to the
congratulations
coffee shop where I used to go. And I just talked to people. I didn't get a thing done. And everybody else was in the same, like, we just wanted to talk, you know, because that's what we miss the most about having to isolate. But I'm good. I've been busy as could be. One of the things I did, it's not exactly a memoir. Well, it is kind of a memoir. But I decided when I heard that COVID was causing some people to have amnesia, I wrote down like every story I have. So that if I got amnesia, I could reboot myself by reading all the anecdotes that I'm sure you've heard several times. Because I remember the story. I never remember who I told it to or if I already told it. But so I kind of did that. That was one of my COVID projects, I guess.
That's a great idea.
That's great.
That's a great idea. And speaking of great ideas, Chris Madden writes on here, we should have a Chuck Johnson night on.
We should have a Chuck Johnson night.
We absolutely should.
One of the stories I was going to tell you, I don't know what people knew, because I don't think anybody knew this, but when I first came to teach at Fairfield, I was so high because that was in December. And in the first week of February, I had surgery on my L4 vertebrae, which was pressing against my sciatic nerve.
Oh my God.
And I was on prescription oxycodone, Percocet, Tylenol.
Whoa.
You know, my whole goal that first time was to not scream, because that's how painful it could be. So I have very few memories of that. I don't know what kind of first impression I made.
You're like, I know we're friends, but I don't know how.
I guess it went okay.
It really did. Look at all the fond memories we have. You're here with us right now.
Well, you have them. You know.
You have them.
Feel free to share.
Tell me what I was doing. Yeah. That's a lot of guitar playing. A lot of fun.
Yes.
Nice conversation.
I was so happy to see that. And I remember one Christmas, New Year's Eve, and the band didn't make it because what was it? There was a power outage, or
it was like a big snow. There was intense snow.
And the only all we had for music, I had a guitar and an amplifier.
Cool.
So I was the and I don't really do dance music. Everybody wanted to dance. I'm like, okay. We got by, it was fun. It's all right.
Just, like solid beat. Let's just crank it out.
Yeah, I think something happened to the.
I remember. I wasn't there for that.
Band, there was a band that couldn't make it for some reason.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Crane Lake made it. So.
I'm sure the Crane Lake. I'm sure they probably ran out of Crane Lake that night, but
they probably did.
Well, Pete, Chris has another sort of like naughty shenanigans story. In addition to Chuck Johnson, I heard this, I think, for the first time when Pete Duval was our guest. And didn't you guys sneak some extra Crane Lake out of the basement or something? What was that?
Paul and I went looking for the Crane Lake stash, but through the bowels of the mansion there, and we never did find it. But Pete, he's like, hey, he would do this thing. Hey, I heard they keep the Crane Lake down in the basement there. Let's go find it.
I can imagine that.
It was like 1 a.m.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Pete, how has your music been in the midst of this? Kind of same.
Funny you should
sort of
ask,
thing?
because I have my guitar. Right?
Oh, fantastic.
Oh,
I've been writing a ton of songs, and I've been I did some podcasts that have music in them.
nice.
Oh, good.
And I'm gonna what I wanted to play is haven't written too many songs like directly about quarantine, but I had this song. It's called Grateful, and I've probably written over 1,000 songs, and I would imagine less than a hand, like 5 are happy. And that's not because I don't feel happy. It's just that when I'm happy, I don't want to write a song. That's not,
I get it.
you know, I most of my songs are ballads. But I had a couple of friends who got COVID and survived, and so I was grateful for them, grateful for myself. I'm grateful for everybody on this live cast, even though I have to remind myself not to forget how many people died and lost their loved ones. You know, we can't like beat our chest and say we did it when 500,000 people and their families are suffering.
Yeah.
But we did it. You know, we did. And what I wanted to introduce this song was by saying, when I teach something. It's a theory I've heard called literary Darwinism. And that means the stories that you tell are the stories that teach us how to survive. And so they're the stories that survive. You know, and you study folklore, and there's 1,000-year-old stories that we keep telling because they tell us something we need to know. There was about 8 years ago, I was in the middle of the most painful part of a separation, marriage falling apart. And I turned on the TV, and I saw a special on the National Geographic Channel. And it's a story that you might know of. It was Uruguayan Flight 571, 1972, crashed in the Andes,
right,
carrying a rugby team.
Yeah.
There were 45 people on the plane. I don't know why there was no SOS. I don't know why they got stuck there, but no one could find them. And 28 people survived the crash. There were 45 on the plane. And then 9 people died of their injuries. So there were 19 people. And they didn't have anything to eat except the bodies of their loved ones and family members in some cases. But they had to do that. And after 62 days, this is a story that I heard on TV. There was a guy named Fernando Parado. He called him Nando. And he and another guy decided they were going to try to hike out. And they went 10 days. It's either 10 miles and 39 kilometers or 10 days, 39. You know, they took them 10 days, I think.
Yeah.
And they got down below the snow line. And then they got down below the tree line, and they were putting blades of grass in their mouths just because it was green. And they got to a river, and they threw a rock with a note tied to it to a shepherd, and they were rescued. And after they were rescued, after this guy Nando Parado got his health back, he started skydiving and driving race cars and scuba diving. So the interviewer asked him, he said, is it that now that you spent so much time so close to death, you're no longer afraid of it? And he said, you know, that's what everybody asks me. I understand why you asked that. I've been asked that before. And that's not it. But what I learned is life is a lot simpler than we think it is. You breathe the air, the sun shines on your face, and that's all it is. Don't make it more complicated than that. And that lesson got me through some tough times.
Right.
And that story, I've told that to tons of people. It's helped them. And in this quarantine, in this pandemic, most of us are not eating other people.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been bad. It's been bad.
It's been really bad.
But we had to stay home. I mean, it could have been worse.
Yes, absolutely.
And that lesson of being grateful for just being alive was the feeling that generated this song.
Awesome.
And this song is Katie, did you go to church camp when you were a kid?
I didn't go to church camp, but I went to a lot of church other stuff for a long time.
Well, I went to Boy Scout camp, and there's a church camp across the street. And before you eat food, they sing grace, right?
Oh,
It's like
okay.
instead of saying grace, they sing these camp songs. And this song, which is the strangest song I ever wrote, could be one of those songs.
I love it. I love it, Pete. I'm excited.
For the food, for the sun that shines upon my face, and for the evening breeze, for the food I have upon my plate, and for the air I breathe. I am grateful every day for the ones who keep me company, for the love that I receive, for the ones who slipped away from me, and for the days when we believed. I am grateful every day. For the angels and the demons too, for the struggle and the pain, for the wonder and the mystery, for the wisdom I have gained. I am grateful. Everybody sing. I know you can't. I am grateful. I am grateful every day. Every day. Fades out like that.
I love it. I love it.
That's the craziest thing I ever wrote.
Gorgeous.
I have not written anything remotely like that.
Like ever in your life.
But you never know. You just don't know what's going to come out.
I could dance to that.
Pete, that was the most gorgeous and uplifting and totally perfect song for the moment that we're in, and I appreciated that so much. And you have to record it.
You guys doing this too. The worst thing about a low-res program is you can't build a community the way you can when you all live in the same town.
True.
And you're doing that online, and that's a very good thing you're doing.
Thank you so much, Pete. We can't wait to get to see you in person and to have you back to read that Chuck Johnson piece. And we hope you also record that gorgeous song. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Pete. All right. What an absolute pleasure to have Pete Nelson with us. And now we're going to welcome our next guest. We're so excited to bring back Philip J. Curtis. Philip!
Midnight.
How y'all doing?
Look at you dressed up for
so
it.
good. So good.
It's a celebration, right?
Looking fabulous. Oh,
great.
A nice blue, Philip.
Hey, before we start, let's.
Oh, yes, please. Cheers, Philip.
Cheers. That's not pickle. That's not pickle flavored beer, though. I can tell.
That was so funny. Philip, we are so excited to have you with us again. You are one of the amazing poets, performers, and new friends that we've met from doing this live stream. I believe it was
all rumors. It's all rumors.
It's all rumors. And I already saw Chance in here in the chat booing you.
He's already trash talking you. Terrible.
He's already getting you, and that is just so great. I believe it was for our open mic. Lona was on here, and you came in to see Lona, and that's how we got connected. And then we got to connected with some of your friends, and it's been absolutely amazing. Stacy Dyson, your mentor, and also Chance. And Chance helped us set up Hispanic Heritage Night. He was wonderful. And if you can see the chat right now, it's blowing up. Everyone's saying hi, Philip. Yay, Philip. Philip. and Lona's saying, yay, my little bro. Go, Philip. Looking good.
Yeah, that's my big sister,
I love that.
She's a good big sister to have.
Mm-hmm.
Philip, we would love to ask you, how has it been going for you all this time in lockdown and in quarantine? How are you doing? How's it going right now? Are you starting to get out a little bit as things are getting a little bit better? Or
well, I honestly have to go into the office every day, so
okay.
But I could hide it. I could hide in my office and not mess with anybody anymore, which is cool. COVID season, there's been some positives for COVID season. In all honesty, getting to meet so many different people across the USA, overseas, across the water, and I've had opportunities to do workshops in high schools, even more so now. So it's been good. It's been good for me in certain ways. There's, life happens, so there's been some down moments as well.
For sure. Absolutely. The tragedy of the whole time, the darkness, the difficulties, all of those challenges are there. But, on the other side, in sort of the silver lining of this time, we have gone online and held events online that connect us to all of these people. We are able to virtually attend things that we'd never otherwise be able to attend in person or without much difficulty. And, if we never would have gotten connected with you. And I'm just hoping when we get to do an in-person reading that we can somehow get you out here to Connecticut.
Well, I have no problem for coming back home to New York, and Connecticut's up the street. That's good.
It is up the street. All right, Philip. We are going to be calling you when that time comes. Fabulous. Absolutely. Philip, you do readings throughout the month, and you have these programs online that are regularly going on. Can you talk about those a little bit? And also, you sent me a message the other day saying I missed the stage, and what would be what are the events that you're looking forward to being a part of? So what do you have going on right now specifically, and what are you looking forward to in a few months, hopefully?
Well, right now I still do open mics on Mondays, Thursdays, Wednesday. I mean, it's always.
you're so active.
And then I do my own open mic the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. It's called Put It in the Chat. So that where I do open mic and 2 spotlight artists during the night, where a person that may have released a book. I let them highlight their book a little bit, ask them some questions, and then that way people get an opportunity to buy their books online. So it's
nice.
It's cool. I always buy 2 books also. I buy one for myself, and I buy one for a giveaway during the night as well.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I mean, part of the reason I do it. Yeah. Part of the reason I do it is my long-term goal is to have my own publishing house. So.
Oh, Philip.
Yeah, so that's it.
You know, any way that we can support you in that, we'll be cheering you on, and go for it.
Midnight Publishing.
No, actually, Midnight Publishing sounds good. I like it, but you know, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. That's my heart. So it will be the street that I grew up on, Park Place Publishing.
I love it. Ooh, I absolutely love that, Philip. That is so exciting. Well, we just are so happy to have you with us tonight. We're excited for all that you're doing. And, you know, I definitely want to be, I have so much stuff going on in the evenings with teaching or whatever, but I want to make sure I get to at least some of your shows, because you're doing them all the time. And I think you're just absolutely incredible.
This week.
And what's that?
No, I said, you said I'm incredible. I said this week. That's all.
This week. No, always. Well, Philip, I think you wanted to share something with us this evening. You have a poem or a piece to share?
Yeah, you know, I love my haiku, so I'm gonna do a haiku, then I'm gonna share a poem. I'm just gonna share one haiku that came to my mind. Great. And this is off topic a little bit. But it came to my mind in some footing. What is gun control? When encouraged to carry, victim, me or you?
Yeah, very, very important, Philip. Thank you.
And you're out there in Colorado.
Yeah, that was about an hour and a half away from me in Boulder last week.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's scary.
But it still hits. It still hits no matter where.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
So I have a poem.
Sure.
A long time ago, at a school far, far away, Fumfa University, there was a young lady and an unbearded man that began a friendship in Mystic, Connecticut. Two names we now know, Chris Belden and the one and only, affectionately called Katie, formed a bond, leading to the unprecedented days and times we've come to know as the realities of last year, creating an online space to help us get through this pandemic and political buffoonery.
Yep.
Technological challenges on our new norm, yet Fumfa 1 began with a song. If you can walk, talk, and breathe, you got everything you need.
Wow.
Here's Katie, poet, writer of the book I used to remember the story of how, starting off each Fumfa reading with her amazing smile. Quick, without looking, here's a trivia question for you. Who were the first two Fumfa guests? None other than Yanni and LaRue. Days of not being able to seeing the chat and saying highs and hellos, but Fumfa cannot start without, hey mom, the infamous beer and the infamous beer can pop. It's 7 o'clock. Adjustments on the fly from sign and challenges. Kim would read in a few weeks, only once technical difficulties are complete. Trials and errors, bios forgotten, questions, Q&A time with Q&A time, Hispanic Heritage Night, where John Acevedo had a chance not to embarrass himself. What an epic fail.
Zing.
So many special events, where Sarah Sleeper's words kept us more than alert and awake. And Travis Baker still gets an award for the best promo pick yet. Life is full of highs and lows and experiences. Some have come and gone as one life's song has ended. but the melody of their memory still lives on. With that said, let's yet again have another moment of silence in remembrance of Dr. Kim Bridgeford. It's 7 p.m. Bear Pop, Hey Mom and Dad, let Fumfa begin. Black History featured my mentor Stacy Dyson and my sister Lona Jack-Vilmar from the days of growing up in Brooklyn and her mother babysitting me. They call me Midnight. On the night of LGBTQ, Susan Davis brought us beautiful and candid imagery. Peter Nelson told us that we needed to remember who captured who got so and then some. We remember. Sunday summer hours, seeing very few people, but our hearts touched with so many words. Taking advice from Baron each and every night. I will put it on my tax return if I ever decided to do tax return. Then again, that might be frowned upon. Again, it's 7 p.m. Hey, Mom. Veterans Night, they shared their heroic stories, and a year later, we thanked them again. Romance Night. Fumfa holiday, extended imagination, but still a lovely celebration. Joanna Myers brought with her a cast of 1, 2, 3, and even more. A cast of misfits with dialogue, Thunderbird Rising, they fit just right. Who has questions for our readers? Co-hosting, reading their own work. Katie, a Christian lady, spoke of spiritual journey, ways in which beliefs may be swayed, loving one's neighbor, welcoming the foreigner and the stranger, as compassion and mercy has vanished to some degree. Blessed us with from the winter morning words, poetry. Chris called to memory confessions of sins from the Chris called to memory confessions of sins, trying to come up with stories to fill space and time, hoping that repeated Hail Marys would erase your sins until that day. That day you had to say the unexpected, speaking in a voice different from the usual, hoping that it would be unrecognizable. Fumfa has become, for me, my Sunday literary joy in the midst of COVID season and a world filled with insanity. Bear Pop, Hey Mom and Dad, live from the comfort of your homes, it must be 7 p.m. with Chris and Katie, poets and poet writers. You are my Benson and Stabler, and we are your special invited guests.
Philip, that was unreal. So good. Oh my God. Oh my God, the level of detail. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much, Philip.
Hey, thank you back. Thank you back.
We love you. I wish I could give you the biggest hug. That is, yes.
There we go.
That is so incredibly gorgeous. What a beautiful, I'm honored. I don't feel worthy of such a gorgeous.
I like the chance part. I like the chance part. That was good.
I like the chance part. He's still booing you in the chat right now.
He's booing you.
My mom says, beautiful poem, Philip. And so does everyone else. They absolutely loved it. And we're like shocked and delighted by their shout out. That means so much to us. Philip, I wonder if you'd be willing to send that to us. I would love to just keep that forever.
Absolutely. Please.
Thank you so much, Philip. What an incredible honor. I'm overwhelmed.
That was so
Thank
great.
you. We're getting you out here. When we have in-person reading, we'll get you out here. We have to.
Oh man.
Yeah. Until next time, Philip. Until next time, we have you. Thank you so much once again. We have one more guest for the night, but just one more last round of applause for Philip J. Curtis.
Midnight.
Thank you so much, Philip. All right. And our last guest of the evening is, and she was mentioned in this incredible piece, Sarah Sleeper. Hey, Sarah.
Sarah. Uh-oh, you're
muted.
Still muted. You're still muted, sir.
I have to follow Philip.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not entirely fair, I don't think, but I'll try.
Oh,
that
Sarah,
was so good. Good job, Philip. Awesome. Really awesome.
It really, really was. What an absolute delight. You got a shout out, Sarah.
I know. And, you know, I'm no sleeper. I don't care what my last name is. It's true. But that was an incredible poem. And like everybody else, this has been so much fun this last year to do these things and watch these every week, Friday or Sunday. It's just been really, really beneficial and a great creative, you know, kind of joiner, gets us all together. So I've loved it. Thank you, guys.
We are so delighted by that, Sarah. And we see you here. I mean, in terms of the attendance award, we've seen you here almost every week, and we appreciate you so much. And it means so much to us to share these evenings with you and to see you in the comments and get to hang out with you even all the way up to California.
It's like something I look forward to every time I am available. I'm here. So thank you guys a lot.
It's important to us, you know. It makes us feel so happy to see the names up there, because you know we get an idea of how many people are watching, but we don't know who they are. And then when they just pop in and say, "Hey, how you doing?" or they ask a question like you often do, it just makes us feel good to know.
Well, you have my 100% support, of course, all the time.
Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, I've been dying to ask you, how is everything going with your book, Gaijin? I'm pronouncing it right. How is it going? Beautiful.
Everything is going really well. I mean, it's interesting to launch a book during a pandemic, but I have a great appreciation for the virtual format of things, and I've done quite a few readings and appearances, which I've been enjoying a lot. It's so much fun to just talk about writing all the time. And I have one coming up on April 8th at the Fairfield University bookstore.
You do!
Some people will come to that, but it's with Karen Osborne, one of my mentors who I love so much. She's facilitating the discussion about my book, which she's so gracious to do. And the bookstore is so kind to have me there. But I definitely think this and the bookstore stuff should somehow, they definitely support alums. So
yes.
I don't know, it seems like there would be a meeting of the minds there somewhere for sure.
You know what, Sarah? I think that you've given us an idea here, Chris. We need to think about this.
Well, and so in addition to that, you know, I mean, I just, everything for me changed when I went to Fairfield, because I came from business writing and journalism, and I made a 180 shift, which I always wanted to do, which was always in my heart, but I had to make a living. And so I did it this other way with this other kind of writing. But ever since Fairfield, my entire literary world has changed. Some of my best friends are from the program still, you know, very much in contact all the time. I have to give a shout out to Lisa Calderon.
Oh, Lisa.
Some of you know, was in the first cohort and founded this literary journal, which I was fortunate enough to be editor-in-chief of for long, even after I graduated. And so, I don't know, I just had so many meaningful experiences there. I worked at New Rivers Press, where Al Davis was editor-in-chief.
That's right.
I did my third semester project there.
Awesome.
And I mean, I guess the thing I would also say is I got the chance to really explore poetry, even though I was in the fiction genre. And when they did a call from the Bellarmine Museum to let somebody, you know, write poems based on the artwork. And for anyone who doesn't know, the Bellarmine Museum is the art museum at the university on campus. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a wonderful space. But so I applied for that and I thought, well, they're not going to let me do that. I'm not a poet. But to my surprise, they did let me do that. And so I got to give a reading there at the university in the museum, which was amazing. And then back with Mason's Road, when this thing was really active before it went defunct, I guess not even too long ago, we did a live reading with contributors to the journal. We did that at the bookstore at Fairfield. So like it's not always apparent when the new cohorts come through. You guys were the first cohort. I was the second cohort.
Right.
How many threads of connection there are, but I don't know. To me, it's as today as it was yesterday when I did it, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. That's a totally perfect metaphor.
My dogs are barking. Oh my God. Let me go in the other room.
Oh, no worries. It's fine. No, but I was just saying that that metaphor is absolutely perfect because it was 10 years ago, roughly, I think, for both of us, what we're thinking of, but it is with us today and so connected to what we're doing today, what we're writing, the relationships we have, the story of all the time since then and how it has led us to the present moment.
Right.
Know what you mean exactly.
And people, I'm in touch with people from the more recent cohorts. I've become
some
friends
shout outs.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say any names because there are so many really nice people that I've met, during and after. Okay. I can't possibly call them all out, sure. But I mean, they know who they are and we're in touch all the time. And then, of course, someone that was just one of my original writers group members from here went to Fairfield. That's Dare Delino. She was my friend from here before she went to Fairfield. So there's just so many connections, and it's just been the other thing that I wanted to mention is I've been trying hard to get more and more integrated into the literary community here where I live. And as a result, I write a column about the library, which is a lot of fun. I write a newspaper column. And I get to moderate author discussions at our fabulous, famous local bookstore called Warwick's.
Awesome.
They have me on board as a moderator for other authors. And it's just been, what could be more fun than that? So
that sounds fantastic.
That sounds absolutely amazing that you made this transition.
Pandemic is terrible, but pursuing this world and getting more immersed in it has been largely because of Fairfield MFA.
That is so wonderful, and how that's been such a part of that pivot for you into focusing on creative writing, and how it's kind of been like the center of all of these wonderful things you've been able to participate in and get involved in and use your experience and lead to your book as well. Just absolutely wonderful, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. And I should of course mention Lisa Kastner, one of my peers, because she owns the publishing company that published my book. And there's other publishers within our group like Chris Madden and other people. It's just great to see everybody doing all these things.
I know.
It is so incredible. Yes, absolutely, Sarah. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because in addition to all of our writers and their publications, we have at least one literary journal that's gotten started. I think also so there's Spry, which was Aaron and Lindsay. There's Causeway Lit, and then the publishing, actual companies, Running Wild, Woodhall Press. And I think that's all of them, but so many, they've produced so much over time.
Right. And they're all working together, like they all collaborate and talk and share things. So it's really good.
Well, it's such an incredible community. And we really said this from the very, very beginning that there's such warmth and such camaraderie in this group. Maybe in other writing groups where there might be a competitive spirit or maybe a discouraging vibe. If that ever happened, I never felt it. And it's just been the safest place for my writing to grow and to just gain all of these incredible new friends.
Right. I felt a little bit alien when I first started because I had been in the business world and journalism worlds for so long. So that when I first came to Enders, I was like, oh, I'm among such creative, interesting people. And I didn't feel fully comfortable, but that quickly changed. It took like maybe 2 residencies until I felt fully at home. And
Sure.
as I said, so many people are near and dear in my life still.
That is absolutely wonderful, Sarah. We know that feeling, Chris.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
it's I mean it's affected everybody, and not everybody has the same experience, but there's so many people who've walked out of there and just had their life changed in such a positive way.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Absolutely. Oh, well, Sarah, you didn't prepare, you aren't sharing tonight, you're just hanging with us and enjoying the evening.
Well, I did have a poem.
You did. You have a poem. I'm sorry.
I know it's getting late, and I feel, again, I can't believe you're making me follow Philip, but
no, take your time and share that poem with us. We want to hear it.
Okay. So the reason I want to share it is because this is directly related to my time there. And this was a poem that I wrote so I went to the museum at the university, took pictures of there were so many different kinds of artwork there, sat in there, wrote descriptions, looked up the origin of the art, did research and all kinds of stuff. And then I wrote this collection of poetry, which I got to read. In this case, I also met the artist of the artwork that I was inspired by, and that was Everett Raymond Kinsler.
Cool.
He is a famous portrait artist. He died I think 2 years ago, but at the time I interviewed him and wrote a piece about him, and he's done all the presidents and whatever. But anyway, I'm not good at that. This is I barely how do you do this?
Yeah, right. There we go.
Tom Wolfe.
Yes.
Okay, that's the author, Tom Wolfe.
Yes, I see that.
Fairly famous portrait by Everett Raymond Kinsler was in the Bellarmine, and so that was one of the pieces that I decided to write. You don't say about when it's ekphrastic poetry; you just say inspired by.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm just going to read you this poem that I wrote, and it's called Good Old Boys. My father lived a second life in the stories of Woolf, Hemingway, and Kerouac. The electric ones, the war ones, the love ones, the drug and sex ones, the smart ones, the art ones, the sparse ones, the exclamatory ones, the run-on ones. And he told me so, and so many times. And he mixed them together with his own stream of consciousness, new journalism version of the late 50s, when his life was better than best, all golden and glowing and fruit ripe. And he slept in vineyards in France, and he learned to love Chateau Neuf de Pop that he crammed down his throat and mine. I turned away from flak jacket and guns, Papa, free love and drugs, Jack, and Natty, Smarty, moved to New Yorker, Tom. Dad wanted to live those lives, not be tied up and down in Lake Forest on the wrong side of the editorial wall at the Sun-Times, where poetry wasn't the currency and money was. Dad tried with summers at Ernie's abandoned Walloon, pitiful Midwest road trips, and old fashions at the Algonquin. I couldn't make it through an English degree without reading A Farewell to Arms, and I couldn't claim myself as a writer if I didn't know On the Road and The Right Stuff. If I read with a concrete heart, did the words enter? When my father died, I found a laminated card hidden in his wallet. It said, "Do not stand at my grave and weep." But I wept anyway for all that he had wanted to be and wasn't, and for all my stubborn slowness in knowing the man he was in full. Then I moved his library into mine. Now his lost dreams live with my inspirations, and Woolf, Hemingway, and Kerouac cohabitate and commingle with Fitzgerald, Nabokov, Roy, Monroe, Marquez, and Erdrich. and my heart is no longer stone. It's a golden and glowing fruit-ripe ball of love for my father and his heroes. I've read all 3 of those good old boys from cover to cover, and their words came all the way in.
Nice.
Sarah, that was incredible.
I hope it doesn't make everybody sad to end the night.
No, it was so perfect. Like talking about like your identity as a writer and pursuing these things and kind of giving these shout outs and mentions to these different writers and their effect on you in your life. It's perfect actually. It's kind of a perfect way to end.
Thank you.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Totally perfect.
Totally perfect.
And it's just, it's so inspiring to see how, that painting, that portrait got something so personal
right
out of you, right?
Mm-hmm. And, just on a lighter note, this is St. Lockton's arm, which was also in the museum at the time.
My goodness.
And this is a relic, much like St. Edmund's arm.
Fairfield is just chasing these arms around.
Relics.
A lot of arms.
That is great, Sarah.
There's an arms race going on.
Very funny.
Sarah, thank you so much for being our guest tonight, for being our guest before. We hope you can come back and read with us again. We're excited for everything that's happening for you. And thank you for sharing that gorgeous poem and your memories also.
Love you guys.
We love you, Sarah. All right. Thank you so much. Woo! Chris, let's just have a little woo-hoo over here. Applause to everybody. Woo! Oh, my hat. Okay, my tall's getting over here.
That was an interesting sound that made.
That was quite a sound, Chris. Yeah. What an incredible evening we had. Chris, I just want to thank you for being my friend all these years and through this last year and through creating this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, I want to thank you too. And what people don't know is that I basically don't do anything.
That's not true.
Katie does it all. And I just drink beer and listen, and it's a pleasure, and I have a great time. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Well, Chris, that's very kind of you. And there's we really work together through all of this, and kind of the things I do. You cover other areas, and I don't think we wouldn't be able to create such an amazing thing without each other. It is, I think as yin and yang, it's as fun and wonderful and organized as it is because the both of us are together doing it. And so thank you to you, Chris. Thank you to all of our amazing readers and guests tonight: Ioanna Opidee, LaRue Cook, Baron Wormser, Lona Jack-Vilmar, Pete Nelson, Philip J. Curtis, Sarah Sleeper, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad. And thank you to all who are watching tonight. So many of our friends are with us in the audience, and even new friends, please come back 2 weeks from tonight after Easter see our next reading event. Thank you so much for this last year.
It's April 11th, and we didn't hear from anybody about the time change, so we'll
put our poll up in the
keep your eyes peeled, everybody, because we're gonna push it back a little bit, and just to accommodate the sunlight hours, let people enjoy the sun a little bit more before they come inside and hear their poems and
stories.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with the amazing treat, the double decker of a killer night with Elaine and AJ O'Connell.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be an awesome night, and so just watch for the later time and vote in the poll. for the time that is best for you for this, summertime. And thank you so much for watching tonight and celebrating with us. I will be, I raise my glass of Crane Lake to to you and to everything that comes that is coming next for us. We hope to continue to do these readings, and we hope that you'll continue to enjoy them and spend time with us on Sunday nights. We love you guys, and have a good night.
Peace out.